The results of a Sensor Tower report show that Walmart has built a wide lead among U.S. retail media networks. According to Retail Dive, Walmart's retail media network is far ahead of the pack compared to its U.S. peers when it comes to delivering advertising impressions. The big box store saw 11 billion impressions in Q1, while the number two player, Target, generated fewer than 7 billion impressions. Chewy, the Home Depot, and Kroger rounded out the rest of the top 5 list. Should be noted, too, that Amazon was not included in this analysis. Breaking out performance, Walmart landed on top for on-site media impressions, meaning it has better monetized its own properties. These findings come as retail media networks are pushing harder into off-site media to tap into additional revenue streams. Chris, I'm curious, what impact will Walmart's significant retail media gains and increased ad revenue enable for the retailer? And can other retailers actually compete in the long run?
Yeah, great question. So I think, Walmart should continue to see growth across 2 dimensions. Number one, while the Walmart Connect division is 5 years old, it's really been over the past 2 years that the company has significantly increased its investment in this space. And now we're seeing that investment pay off as the company reported over 11 billion impressions, as you mentioned, in the first quarter. So we should see continue ad revenue generation as the retail media arm grows, especially as the organization has the ability to serve endemic and non-endemic brands. Number two, most importantly, retail media is very attractive to both retailers and brands as there is a significant amount of data on the consumer and their buying habits or trends. When you have the ability to better target your customer and be more effective with your media spend and then tie back a media campaign to sales due to closed loop measurement, it becomes very powerful in terms of driving revenue. As Walmart realizes better traffic and conversion and thus sales through more effective targeting and media spend, it will have a big impact on assortment, shelf space, both from a channel and localized perspective, as well as inventory investments, et cetera. It'll be interesting to see how the brands Walmart carries grow as a result of this as well. I'd say from a competitive standpoint, due to Walmart's size, physical store footprint, which is a competitive advantage to Amazon, and their wide assortment of categories and products, I would think it'd be very difficult for other retailers to compete at the scale in which Walmart plays.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So now let's bring Mohit in. So Mohit, do you think the lead will grow, or do you think the other players will start to catch up to Walmart?
I always think about this as, we've talked about it, I think, in the past. The consumer is the new channel, right? So the question is, who owns the consumer? So in the case of Walmart, with a very significant store footprint and, a rapidly growing Walmart Plus network, you have that captive audience which you can play on. And frankly, every retailer is kind of, doing the same, be it, the big grocers, be it the specialty retailers. And, it doesn't really matter what is the relative scale of the number of impressions or users you have. I think if you have a captive audience and you're a small retailer, you can have a captive audience of, 500 million impressions and still be doing great, right? So I think, the numbers kind of can sometimes be misleading. In the case of Walmart, I also believe, especially with changes in consumer discretionary spending, a lot of other new segments and demographics have started shopping at Walmart in the last, 3 or 5 years, which has probably, juiced up these numbers.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So your main point is like, yeah, Walmart might have the lead, but there's still an opportunity for every retailer to
absolutely
capitalize and benefit from this idea of retail media. So, Ann, let me bring you in here, but still, I want to get back to it. Do you think this lead that Walmart is already exhibiting is only going to grow? What's your take? Or do you think Target's going to catch up to them and Kroger and Chewy and all those folks?
A lot would have to happen. I mean, Chris, we've talked about this, like Walmart just seems to be on a trajectory that is unstoppable. I think especially when you look at what Amazon's ad revenue has allowed Amazon to do, and now you look at where Walmart is going, Walmart is a strong contender. They can only go up from here. You have retail media in stores, online, the marketplaces. And then I think nobody's talking too about the emerging categories like CTV with the Vizio partnership. Like they're just going to keep collecting more and more data to make this media network stronger.
I 100% agree with you, Ann. Like I mean, it's like it's going to rocket ship. Like we're going to keep watching these numbers, and the lead is just going to grow. And I think two reasons. One, you brought up marketplace, right? No one else can do a marketplace of the size and scale that Walmart can. And the one that can is Target, and they're too scared to do it, apparently. And then the other point too, which goes to what the folks at A&M CRG said, is you got the store play here too. And electronic shelf labels, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, like that's another physical substrate to sell and put retail media on, which hasn't even been talked about in this discussion yet. So those are more impressions ultimately, where the bulk, the majority, like 80 to 90% of retail volume still happens. So, and the last time I checked, Amazon can't do that. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Amazon, is my last thing I would say, Ann.
Can't think of a better way to end on that headline, Chris.